Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my videos. On this video I'm going to be providing you with an update on Amad Diallo and Kobble Maino. So the first topic of the development I'll be starting with is Amad Diallo. So according to reports, Amad Diallo has agreed a new long-term contract at Manchester United. An announcement from the club is imminent. Amad Diallo's new deal will be valid until June 2030. Amad Diallo's current contract was due to expire this year. There was an option to extend for a further year. Amad Diallo has been a bright spark for Manchester United. You know, he's been there at vital moments. You know, he rescued a draw for Manchester United away at Liverpool. He scored the winner in the Manchester derby. Manchester United, of course, won that game by 2-1. Since Amad Diallo broke into the first team, he's made 50 appearances. He's a former Atalanta player. But prior to the game against Liverpool, Ruben Amorim did confirm that Amad Diallo was close to signing a new contract at Manchester United. So that's the news on him. Now the news on Kobble Maino. So Kobble Maino is not concerned about his Manchester United future. Now, Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein, who are two reliable journalists, they've come out and said that Manchester United are willing to listen to offers for Kobble Maino and we're willing to sell him for the right price. My perspective on this, it's a disgrace. You know, Manchester United shouldn't be selling any of their young players. And, you know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's a disgrace. Ineos are, and so too are the Glazers. There's also been narratives coming out saying that Kobble Maino is unhappy with his initial contract offer. Kobble Maino apparently is demanding £200,000 a week to stay at Manchester United. Chelsea have been heavily linked with him. Chelsea are leading the race to sign Kobble Maino. Kobble Maino was a revelation in his breakout season. He struggled this season, obviously through injuries. We revert back to October, he was out with a hamstring injury. He was out for around 8 weeks. Kobble Maino, of course, played against Liverpool at Anfield, controlled that midfield very well, alongside Ugarte. He is under contract with Manchester United until 2027. So, that is the news on him. Now, I want to delve into some more news on Marcus Rashford. So, there has been narratives coming out saying that Tottenham want Marcus Rashford on loan. That's stemming from The Athletic. Sky in Italy, like I mentioned earlier on today, have said that AC Milan want to sign Marcus Rashford on loan with an option to buy. Marcus Rashford's representatives have held talks with AC Milan. You know, they have been over to Italy. Juventus and Borussia Dortmund are also interested in Rashford. Revert back to last month, Marcus Rashford did say he wants a new challenge. Marcus Rashford, of course, missed the game against Liverpool at Anfield. Ruben Amorim did confirm prior to the game that he hadn't been training and he was out with illness. And he was an unused substitute in Manchester United's 2-0 defeat to Newcastle at Old Trafford. Not so long ago, Marcus Rashford rejected 3 transfer offers, was it, from Saudi Arabia worth 35 million a year. Not so long ago, there was talks of a Marcus Rashford and Victor Osimhen swap deal. You know, so far, Marcus Rashford has spent his entire career at Manchester United. Came up our academy. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. The best season he enjoyed was his debut season, and Rashford has made over 400 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He is under contract with the club until 2028. Man United are demanding around £50 million for Rashford. You know, you can put him on the left, you can put him on the right, and you can put him centrally. But like I've mentioned, you know, I'd get rid of the vast majority of the team. Like I've said, it looks like Casemiro is on his way out of the club, like I mentioned earlier. Casemiro's already told Manchester United that he wants to leave this month. Casemiro has apparently been offered £650,000 a week wages to join Al Nassr. That is almost double the wages that he's currently on at Manchester United. Saudi dealmakers believe Casemiro is available for around £25 million. Casemiro, of course, has lost his place in the team. You know, the likes of Maino and Ugarte are ahead of him. Man United have had Casemiro for 2.5 years. Man United got him for £70 million from Real Madrid. I've also said we need to get rid of Xerxes. It looks like Xerxes is now staying at the club. He's come out and said he don't want to leave Manchester United. He loves the club. He's been linked with a move to Juventus. He has been talks about a swap deal between Dusan Vlahovic and a Xerxes swap deal, hasn't there? Xerxes, of course, came on against Liverpool. He played a part in that Harry Maguire chance. There was talks that Xerxes was offside. He obviously played in the 2-0 defeat to Newcastle, come off after just half an hour mark. He was booed by a lot of Manchester United fans, but some people, or a lot of people, disagreed with him getting booed. We definitely need to get rid of Onana, not a good enough goalkeeper. He did do well against Liverpool, but that's definitely the best game he's had at Manchester United so far. He did make some good saves in that game. His distribution was good. He was unfortunate not to keep out Mohamed Salah's penalty. We also need to get rid of Victor Lindelof. I said we also need to get rid of Harry Maguire. We know that Harry Maguire is not going to be leaving the club at the moment. Ruben Amorim did confirm that Harry Maguire's contract will be extended. He confirmed that prior to the game against Liverpool. So Harry Maguire will be staying at the club until at least 2026. Manchester United got Harry Maguire from Leicester back in 2019 for £80 million. We also need to get rid of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, of course, is injured at the moment. He's close to returning. Ruben Amorim's confirmed. But he's had a good career at Manchester United, and for such a long time he was our first choice left back. We also need to get rid of Anthony. There's obviously rumours about Garnacho leaving the club as well. But like I've mentioned, you know, this is a big January transfer window for Ruben Amorim. You know, he needs to be given time, you know, to recommend the right players in, get rid of the deadwood. Ruben Amorim's obviously mentioned that he will splash the cash this month. You know, Ruben Amorim has been in charge of Manchester United for what, about 6 or 7 weeks, so he hasn't even been in charge of Man United for 2 months yet. So he does need time at the club. You know, Ruben Amorim knew when he took over the reins at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, you know, managing such a big club, you know, inheriting a poor team. Revert back to when Ruben Amorim was in Portugal, you know, he did very, very well. You know, he did well at Sporting Lisbon, you know, won trophies with them, couple of titles with them. But like I've mentioned before, the Premier League and the Portuguese League are totally contrast. You know, the Premier League is the best division in world football. Like I mentioned earlier on, Ruben Amorim was angry and upset at his Man United players despite the 2-2 draw with Liverpool. Bruno Fernandes obviously came out and said it frustrates me why we can't produce performances like that every week. Ruben Amorim, of course, has been discussing Manchester United's relegation battle. Man United are what's sitting 13th in the Premier League at the moment. But I've already underlined, you know, the issues at the club. You know, players are an issue. The Glazers are an issue. You know, they've been an issue at the club for such a long time now. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's become an issue because he's replicating the mistakes that the Glazers have made. Ineos have done nothing since they've been recommended into the club. If we'd have got Qatar, well, you know, would that have made a difference? You know, because obviously Manchester United missed out on Qatar. You know, so there's so many problems at the club that need to be addressed. And, you know, Manchester United, you know, have sat to one, 6 or 7 managers since Ferguson retired. You know, obviously, since Ferguson retired, we had David Moyes, sacked him, finished 7th under him. We sacked him after 9 or 10 months. Didn't win any silverware under him. You know, after that we had Van Gaal, had a good start under Van Gaal, then it all went downhill. We won the FA Cup under Van Gaal. Then after that we got Jose Mourinho. Of course, it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho, got rid of him. He enjoyed a good first season, you know, because he won 2 trophies in his first season. That was the EFL Cup and the Europa League. But the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board and bad disputes with the top players. And obviously after that we had Solskjaer, didn't work out under him. Solskjaer did well, didn't he, at the start as interim manager. That's obviously what got him the job on a permanent basis at Manchester United. Won no silverware, but got us to semi-finals, got us a 2nd place finish and a 3rd place finish. Had Rangnick, didn't work out under him. Obviously had Ten Hag, and Man United definitely made the right decision by sacking Ten Hag because he wasn't the right manager for Manchester United. Of course, won 2 trophies at the club. That was the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. Us winning the FA Cup last season saved Eric Ten Hag's job at that point. Because if we hadn't beaten City in that final, you know, Eric Ten Hag would have been sacked. So yeah, we have had a lot of managers. You know, we've had a few interim managers as well. We had Van Nistelrooy for a short period, did well. We had Carrick at one point. We had Giggs at one point as well. Manchester United's next game, of course, is Arsenal in the FA Cup. That is Sunday, and that's going to be a difficult game. Man United are the current holders of the FA Cup, as you all know. Man United and Arsenal are the 2 most successful clubs in the FA Cup historically. You know, Arsenal have won 14, Manchester United have won 13. Manchester United lost to Arsenal at the Emirates in the league earlier on in the season, 2-0. 2 set pieces cost Manchester United that game, but Man United have been very vulnerable from set pieces this season. We've conceded a hell of a lot of goals from set pieces. But hopefully Manchester United will be going into that game full of confidence, reflecting on the good performance we put out against Liverpool at Anfield. Arsenal, of course, their heads will be down. They recently lost 2-0 to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. There is problems at Arsenal as well. Like I've mentioned, there's problems at Manchester United. You know, Arsenal have got an ownership that lacks ambition. Arteta, I'd say, is an average manager. I think Arteta is probably now past his time as Arsenal manager. Arsenal also need some signings. You know, Arsenal's squad, you know, obviously they've got Kai Havertz in there.
Gabriel Jesus in there, former City player. He's had quite a lot of injuries since he became an Arsenal player, so you can say he is injury prone. They've got Raheem Sterling, you know, former Manchester City player. Marquinhos. Leandro Trossard, former Brighton player. They've got Bukayo Saka, and he's been a big miss for Arsenal. They seem to struggle a bit without him. Gabriel Martinelli as well. They've got a good midfield in Thomas Partey, former Atletico Madrid player. Martin Odegaard, Jorginho, former Chelsea and Napoli player. Mikel Merino. I have been impressed with that Ethan Nwaneri. He made some fantastic touches in Arsenal's 3-1 win against Brentford. He's actually out with injury at the moment. They've got Calafiori, Kieran Tierney, Zinchenko, William Saliba, Tomiyasu. He's out with injury at the moment. Ben White, he's injured. He's a former Brighton player. You know, so they have got some good players in that team. Of course, Arsenal have let players go. They loaned quite a few out, didn't they? They loaned, was it Reece Nelson out, loaned Fabio Vieira out, Emil Smith-Rowe left them as well. They let Aaron Ramsdale go permanently. Let Mohamed El Neni go as a free agent. You know, Arsenal, of course, are second in the Premier League, 6 points behind Liverpool. You know, Arsenal are looking to win their first Premier League title. You know, they haven't won the Premier League since 2004. That's, of course, when there was the Invincibles. But Arsenal-Manchester United is always a big game. You know, back in the day when we had Ferguson, when they had Van, it was always Man United and Arsenal going for the league title. Of course, Arsenal had 12 good years out of the... Well, Wenger, should I say, had 12 good years out of the 22 years he was at Arsenal. He was a very good manager. Wenger and Ferguson are the two longest serving managers. Don't forget that.
So anyway guys, I'll back more videos tomorrow. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless.